She was already standing in front of my cabin when I pulled up, her red suit glowing like a warning light under the fading sun. Her arms were crossed, eyes narrowed, as if she owned the very ground beneath her feet. Before I could even step out of my truck, she shouted, "This land is under HOA control now. You can't stay here." The words hung in the air like a challenge, igniting a fire in my chest that had been smoldering for years. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, staring at the two HA-marked SUVs parked behind her, their lights flashing ominously. This wasn't just a visit, it was an invasion. My heart pounded steadily, but I kept my face calm. Little did she know, the valley's secrets were about to unravel her carefully constructed empire of rules and intimidation. The dirt road crunched under my tires as I approached the cabin, the familiar scent of pine filling the air. But today, it was tainted by tension. Karen stood there, folder in hand, flanked by men in ill-fitting uniforms that screamed amateur. Their badges gleamed cheaply in the light, a far cry from anything official. I parked and stepped out, feeling the weight of their stares. She didn't waste a second, jabbing her finger toward me like a weapon. "You've ignored our notices for too long. This valley belongs to the HOA board now." Her voice echoed across the open space, carrying an arrogance built on years of unchecked power. I scanned the scene, the SUVs, the men, the fake authority, and knew this was her boldest move yet. My cabin, my sanctuary, was under siege. Behind her, the men shifted uncomfortably, hands hovering near their belts. One glanced at Karen for direction, revealing their uncertainty. The valley, with its rolling hills and whispering trees, seemed to hold its breath. I tightened my hold on the leather case containing my deed, ready to defend what was rightfully mine. This confrontation had been brewing, and now it was here. "You don't get it, Karen," I said calmly, meeting her gaze without flinching. "This cabin is mine. This valley is mine, and no piece of paper you conjured up changes that." She smirked, waving her thick folder like a shield, filled with what I knew were fabricated documents. Her confidence was palpable, but I saw the faint crack in it when I didn't back down. She barked orders to the men emerging from the SUVs. "Take his case and remove him from the property." One stepped forward, reaching for my arm with hesitant aggression. The air grew thick with anticipation, the distant call of birds the only sound breaking the silence. I stood my ground, my mind racing through the years of history tied to this land. Carefully, I pulled out a folded document from my case. "You touch me, and it won't be me in handcuffs tonight." The man froze, eyes widening at the federal seal gleaming on the paper. Karen laughed sharply, but her voice lacked its earlier edge. The game was shifting, and she sensed it, though she refused to admit defeat just yet. The fake officers exchanged nervous glances, their cheap uniforms betraying them under closer scrutiny. Belts didn't fit right, badges looked like they came from a costume shop. Anyone with experience could spot the fraud. Karen puffed up, shouting, "This land belongs to the HOA board." But her words rang hollow against the truth I held. I unfolded the paper fully, holding it high. "Funny thing, Karen. This valley isn't just mine, it's protected under a deed you can't touch." Her smirk faltered, color draining from her face as the reality sank in. The men backed off slightly, whispering among themselves, unwilling to escalate without certainty. Karen snapped her fingers, urging one to grab a radio. "Unit 3, move in. Secure the cabin." Her heels sank into the grass as she strutted closer, jabbing a finger into my chest. "You think a piece of paper scares me? I run this board." Arrogance dripped from her tone, but the valley's quiet amplified her growing desperation. That's when the roar of an engine shattered her monologue. A black pickup truck barreled down the dirt road, dust billowing in its wake. Karen froze, her eyes locking on the vehicle. It wasn't one of her reinforcements. It was my brother, stepping out with purpose, his presence commanding immediate respect. He pulled a badge from his jacket, holding it up. Sheriff's Department. This land is not HOA property. It belongs to my family, and the deed is on record. The fake cops stiffened like statues, hands dropping from their holsters. Karen forced a laugh. Oh, what? You brought backup? Cute. But her voice trembled, betraying the fear creeping in. The air thickened as she snarled at her men. Don't just stand there. Arrest them both. None moved. One muttered, You didn't tell us he was law enforcement. Silence enveloped us, broken only by the wind rustling through the trees. My brother's steady gaze dismantled her facade piece by piece. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder as real sheriff cruisers approached. Flashing lights bathed the valley in red and blue, casting long shadows over the scene. Karen's eyes darted like a trapped animal, her fake officers retreating as actual deputies emerged from the vehicles. One deputy, tall with a gravelly voice, assessed the situation. We got a call about trespassing and threats. He glanced at me, then Karen. The only threats I see are on your side, ma'am. She plastered on a smile, pleading, Officer, thank God you're here. This man is squatting. But her act fooled no one. My brother handed over a tablet with security footage, Karen planting notices, orchestrating her scheme. The deputy's joy tightened as he watched. Voices rose from the gathering neighbors, recounting years of her tyranny. The evidence mounted, her empire crumbling under the weight of truth. Karen's composure shattered. She lunged, snatching the deed and stomping it into the dirt. This paper means nothing, she screamed, hurling it down. A deputy intervened, but she grabbed a radio, barking, block the road. No one leaves. The valley fell silent, even the wildlife seeming to pause in judgment. I retrieved the deed calmly, dusting it off. You just sealed it, Karen. Impersonating officers, trespassing, fraud. My brother nodded, and cuffs appeared. She thrashed, yelling, I own this valley. But her men stood idle, the real law closing in. The radio crackled with orders for her arrest. She appealed to the neighbors. I've protected your homes. But they rebuked her evictions, fines, petty rules. Anger boiled over, voices uniting against her. The deputy cuffed her, the click echoing triumphantly. Her screams faded as she was led away, the valley exhaling in relief. As the cruisers prepared to leave, neighbors emerged from the tree line, their faces a mix of relief and resolve. One man held up a crumpled notice. You tried to evict me for a chicken coop. A woman added, You fined my kids for biking. Years of grievances poured out, a chorus dismantling her legacy. I stood amid them, the deed secure. The sun dipped lower, painting the hills in golden hues. My brother clasped my shoulder. It's over. The deputies nodded approval, affirming the land's true ownership. The crowd murmured agreement, bonds strengthening in the aftermath. Karen's red suit flashed one last time under the lights as she was driven away. The fake SUVs slunk off, their drivers avoiding eyes. The valley, once choked by fear, now breathed freely. Whispers of gratitude filled the air, a community reborn. As the sun set over the valley, I stood on my cabin's porch, gazing at the land that had withstood the storm. The confrontation with Karen wasn't just about one piece of property, it was a stand against tyranny disguised as order. Her arrest marked the end of an era where fear ruled, replaced by unity and justice. The neighbors dispersed, but their cheers lingered, a testament to resilience. This valley belongs to those who cherish it, not to boards or bullies. In defending it, we reclaimed our freedom, ensuring no one like her rises again. The peace that followed was hard-won, a lasting reminder that truth prevails when good people stand firm. The valley was ours forever.